Secret images from Singapore reveal Hamilton like you have never seen him before. The legend in red, mastering the streets of Marina Bay with precision and grace. While rivals collapsed in chaos, Hamilton looked untouchable, calm, and surgical. The question now is simple. How many times must he prove that greatness is not an accident? The recap of Singapore's leaked images and practice drama leaves only one undeniable conclusion. Lewis Hamilton was the defining presence of the weekend. He took a car with chronic weaknesses, the Ferrari SF25, and reshaped its performance through instinct, discipline, and clarity. Every lap he produced revealed stability where instability had ruled, control where chaos had consumed others. This was not Ferrari fixing Hamilton, it was Hamilton fixing Ferrari. The footage proved that greatness is not measured by equipment, but by the man who masters it. Ferrari's internal reality was brutally exposed. On one side, Hamilton provided calm, analytical feedback, offering precise adjustments that sharpened performance. On the other, Leclerc radiated frustration, delivering contradictions and errors that unsettled the team. The secret recordings did not create that contrast, they revealed it. For a Scuderia desperate for leadership, the answer was staring them in the face. Hamilton has become the pillar they cannot afford to lose. Vasseur's reluctant admissions confirmed that even the leadership knew who was carrying the weight of the project. Rivals looked no better under the spotlight of comparison. Red Bull displayed outright speed, but lacked Hamilton's consistency, failing to adapt to the shifting grip of Marina Bay. McLaren shone briefly with Oscar Piastri, but showed cracks in long runs. Mercedes, once Hamilton's fortress, crumbled in embarrassment, with Russell crashing and the team offering nothing of value. Against this field, Hamilton stood alone as the complete package, fast, consistent, intelligent, and composed. The leaks simply magnified what the stopwatch had already suggested. The numbers themselves carried weight, but the images gave them life. Hamilton's laps were not simply fast, they were repeatable, surgical, and sustainable under conditions that unsettled rivals. His tire management, his throttle precision, and his steering corrections painted the portrait of a driver who has transcended the weaknesses of machinery. Ferrari's simulations could not replicate what Hamilton delivered on track. That is why the footage shook the paddock so profoundly. It showed that human mastery still matters more than any algorithm or computer model. The psychological message to rivals and fans alike was unmistakable. Hamilton radiated composure, transforming red flags, unstable balance, and team confusion into opportunities to demonstrate control. Rivals cracked under the same circumstances, proving once more that pressure does not build champions, it reveals them. Fans in Britain and the United States could see through the noise. Hamilton is not clinging to relevance, he is setting the standard. His presence in Ferrari colors is not symbolic nostalgia, it is a statement of authority that the entire paddock must recognize. So when we recap Singapore's revelations, the story is simple yet monumental. Hamilton commanded, Ferrari doubted. Hamilton shone, Leclerc stumbled. Hamilton led, Vasseur trembled. The leaked footage confirmed that in a sport where perception often clouds truth, Hamilton's reality is clear. He is still the benchmark, still the leader, still the driver who defines Formula One. And with this truth laid bare, the only question left is how far he can carry Ferrari when it matters most, under the lights, with everything on the line. Behind the locked doors of Ferrari's garage in Marina Bay, the cameras capture moments that few were ever meant to see. Lewis Hamilton, seated in the SF25, looked calm, focused, and entirely in control. The secret footage showed him adjusting controls with delicate precision, speaking in measured tones to his engineer, and delivering the kind of authority that only a 7-time world champion can bring. It was the portrait of a leader, a man who transforms a flawed car into a weapon through instinct and intelligence. These images were not just technical, they were symbolic, revealing a driver who has mastered chaos where others only survive. The context of Singapore made these revelations even more powerful. A street circuit as demanding as Marina Bay punishes hesitation, exposes weakness, and magnifies mistakes. Rivals fell victim to the track's relentless nature, with red flags disrupting rhythm and drivers misjudging corners under pressure. Yet the leaked images showed Hamilton unmoved by the disorder. While George Russell and Liam Lawson crashed, Hamilton adapted instantly, his preparation and focus immune to distraction. That contrast alone told the story. Hamilton thrives in unpredictability, while others drown in it. Ferrari's pit wall could not hide their unease. Fred Vasseur, often desperate to project control, appeared unsettled by what the footage revealed. Hamilton's communication was surgical, asking for 2 clicks of front downforce with a tone that commanded respect. Leclerc, in sharp contrast, filled the radio with frustration, demanding major changes that unsettled the engineers further. The footage did not just capture Hamilton's authority, it exposed Ferrari's internal imbalance. One driver carried composure and leadership, the other carried excuses. For fans in Britain and the United States, the leaked material was more than entertainment, it was confirmation. It proved that Hamilton's move to Ferrari was never about nostalgia or chasing headlines. It was about bringing his unique brand of discipline, clarity, and relentless professionalism to a team long in need of direction. The images demonstrated exactly that: a man shaping an institution with his mere presence, guiding mechanics, instructing engineers, and imposing calm where panic had once reigned. The footage also highlighted the gap to rivals. Red Bull may still have raw pace, but Verstappen's body language revealed frustration with grip. McLaren may look promising with Oscar Piastri, but without the discipline Hamilton displayed, their rhythm broke under pressure. Mercedes, Hamilton's former home, once again looked irrelevant, with Russell in the wall and little to show for the evening. Against this backdrop, Hamilton stood as the constant, the figure who radiated experience and mastery while the rest of the field revealed flaws. What made the leak so impactful was the truth it carried. These were not public interviews polished for the cameras. These were raw, unfiltered moments. And in those moments, Hamilton proved that he remains Formula One's defining presence. A driver who does not need hype to demonstrate authority. A man who lets his actions under the floodlights speak for him. The leaked images were a glimpse into greatness at work, and they left one question hanging in the humid Singapore night. If this is only the beginning of the weekend, what will happen when Hamilton unleashes everything in qualifying and the race? The leaked images provided the kind of clarity that lap charts often fail to deliver. They showed Hamilton in complete control, lap after lap, operating with a consistency that engineers described as extraordinary. His times in FP1 and FP2 were not just quick, they were repeatable within margins so narrow that they could only come from mastery. Rivals tried to find pace through aggressive setups and risky tire strategies, but none matched Hamilton's rhythm. He proved once again that it is not about one flying lap, it is about building a foundation, and that foundation was evident in every frame of the footage. Consistency is a rare quality under the lights of Marina Bay, where changing grip levels and urban chaos make rhythm elusive. Yet Hamilton thrived in those very conditions. The secret recordings captured him adjusting to traffic with ease, reading situations that unsettled younger drivers, and still keeping the Ferrari SF25 online. McLaren relied on bursts of speed from Oscar Piastri, but his pace came in flashes rather than in sustained sequences. Red Bull struggled with tire warm-up, losing tenths through missed windows. Mercedes offered little more than desperation. Against this backdrop, Hamilton appeared untouchable, the one man who made chaos look like order. His communication with engineers revealed why his pace was sustainable. Hamilton did not waste words complaining. He gave feedback in sharp, precise observations. He explained where the car was oversteering, where grip was breaking, and what small changes could stabilize performance. The footage made clear that Ferrari's engineers trusted him more than they trusted their simulations, because Hamilton's data came not from numbers, but from instinct sharpened by 2 decades of experience. In contrast, Leclerc's radio was filled with frustration and contradictions, leaving the team confused and reactive. Another striking revelation from the images was Hamilton's tire management. On mediums, where the SF25 has historically struggled, he kept the compounds alive longer than expected, producing laps that were both fast and stable. This was not visible on the official timesheets, but became obvious in the secret footage. His ability to nurture grip while still attacking corners is an art that separates champions from contenders. Rivals like Verstappen and Norris overshot braking points, burning tires prematurely, while Hamilton played the long game, thinking not about Friday glory, but Sunday victory. Even under the disruption of red flags, Hamilton's focus never wavered. The footage showed him cycling through procedures calmly, cooling the tires when necessary, preparing them perfectly when the track reopened, and immediately delivering pace. Other drivers looked rattled, some losing control in the very next laps, but Hamilton treated interruptions as opportunities. It was a reminder that composure is not a luxury in Formula One, it is a weapon. In Singapore, Hamilton wielded that weapon like only he can, intimidating rivals without even needing to say a word. Perhaps the most powerful truth exposed by the leak was that Hamilton's performance was achieved without chasing the artificial satisfaction of soft tire glory runs. While others inflated their positions with fresh compounds and low fuel, Hamilton built his case on mediums and controlled stints. The footage showed a man preparing for war, not for applause. That is why the engineers looked at him with awe, and why Vasseur was left speechless. The numbers were important, but the images made them undeniable. Hamilton was not surviving the SF-25, he was redefining it. And that set the stage perfectly for the deeper technical revelations to come. The leaked footage gave us an unparalleled view into how Hamilton manages a flawed machine at the very edge of performance. The Ferrari SF-25 is infamous for its unpredictability, especially when it comes to rear-end stability and tire sensitivity. Yet in Hamilton's hands, those flaws were not weaknesses but opportunities to demonstrate mastery. The images captured the smallest corrections on his steering wheel, movements so subtle that engineers later admitted they would never have detected them from telemetry alone. Where Leclerc wrestled with oversteer and made errors, Hamilton danced with the car, turning instability into rhythm. The most striking scenes came in the low-speed corners, where the SF-25 has historically suffered. Hamilton's throttle control was clinical, feathering the power delivery so that traction remained intact while others lit up their tires in desperation. The footage revealed a driver who anticipated slip before it happened, adjusting his inputs so naturally that the car seemed calmer with every lap. This was not just experience, it was instinct sharpened over years of street circuit battles. Leclerc, in contrast, produced wheel spin and clumsy recoveries that exposed Ferrari's fragility instead of hiding it. Tire behavior was another key element highlighted in the leak. The SF-25 has destroyed compounds all season, struggling to keep them within the right temperature window. Hamilton, however, manipulated this weakness with strategic patience. He eased tires in gently, avoided aggressive warm-up mistakes, and then attacked with precision when grip reached its narrow peak. The images showed a driver who was not reacting to the car, but dictating its behavior. Rivals like Verstappen and Norris lost their windows entirely, overshooting corners and degrading compounds prematurely. Hamilton, in turn, proved that the science of tire control is also an art. The audio synchronized with the footage gave even more depth. Hamilton's voice was calm and analytical, asking for 2 clicks of front downforce with the confidence of a man who knew exactly what he needed. This request seemed almost trivial to outsiders, but for engineers it was evidence of extraordinary sensitivity. In comparison, Leclerc's frantic demands for sweeping changes left the team chasing their tail. The leak exposed the gap between a driver who offers solutions and one who amplifies problems. In the world of Formula One engineering, that gap can decide whether a car evolves or collapses. Meanwhile, rivals collapsed under the same conditions Hamilton thrived in. Russell's crash and Lawson's red flag were signs of pressure breaking younger minds. The leaked material showed how Hamilton approached those interruptions, calmly resetting, recalibrating procedures, and resuming pace as though nothing had happened. That ability to neutralize chaos is what separates icons from participants. Ferrari's engineers could not hide their amazement, knowing that no simulator session could replicate the composure Hamilton displayed in real time under the lights of Singapore. The technical revelations from these secret images confirmed what many already suspected. Ferrari's greatest upgrade was not aerodynamic or mechanical, it was human. The SF-25 remained fragile, but Hamilton turned fragility into functionality. He was not adapting to the car, he was forcing the car to adapt to him. That truth unsettled Vasseur and humiliated rivals who had predicted his downfall in red. And it set up the dramatic twist that would shake the paddock even more, as Ferrari's internal voices admitted publicly what the images had already revealed privately. The dramatic twist of a Singapore weekend did not come from official timing sheets, but from what the leaked images and audio revealed inside Ferrari. The contrast between Hamilton and Leclerc was so stark that even seasoned engineers were left stunned. Hamilton's radio was measured, analytical, and surgical in its requests, while Leclerc's was frantic, filled with frustration and sweeping demands that produced confusion rather than clarity. For Ferrari, the footage was not just information, it was a mirror held up to the team, exposing who was carrying them forward and who was dragging them down. The revelation hit hardest when Hamilton requested only 2 clicks of front downforce. To the untrained ear, it sounded minor, almost insignificant, but within Ferrari's garage it was revolutionary. Those 2 clicks symbolized Hamilton's precision, his ability to feel nuances that engineers struggle to capture in simulations. The leaked footage paired his request with telemetry, proving his instinct was right. In stark contrast, Leclerc had asked for radical shifts in balance, destabilizing the car further. The twist was clear. Hamilton was engineering Ferrari's progress from the cockpit, while Leclerc was amplifying its weaknesses. Fred Vasseur, who has long tried to maintain control over Ferrari's narrative, was forced into an uncomfortable admission. In leaked comments to Italian broadcasters, he acknowledged that Hamilton was effectively carrying the project on his shoulders. For Ferrari, a team obsessed with equality between drivers, this was a moment of truth. The pit wall, usually careful with its public words, had essentially crowned Hamilton as the cornerstone of their future. For Vasseur, it was a confession born out of necessity. For Hamilton, it was vindication of his decision to leave Mercedes for Maranello. The psychological ripple of this twist reached beyond Ferrari. Rivals who mocked Hamilton's move now saw a different reality. Red Bull realized that a Ferrari team unified behind Hamilton could become a genuine threat. McLaren understood that consistency would always favor experience over youthful flashes of speed. And Mercedes, the team Hamilton once called home, faced the humiliation of watching their former champion dictate headlines in red, while their own drivers spiraled into mistakes. The leak was not just about Ferrari, it was about shifting power in Formula One. The irony was brutal. Ferrari had invested heavily in technical updates, endless simulations, and wind tunnel work to solve the SF-25's fragility. Yet the leaked footage proved the most decisive upgrade was already in the cockpit. Hamilton neutralized flaws that engineers could not, creating stability out of instability and vision out of confusion. Leclerc, despite years inside the team, failed to provide the same clarity. This was not merely a driver comparison, it was a public unmasking of Ferrari's reality. Hamilton is the difference, and without him the Scuderia remains lost. What made the twist unforgettable was Hamilton's own reaction. In interviews, he downplayed the drama, speaking of teamwork and steady progress, but the footage betrayed a different truth. His calm presence and body language radiated authority, the kind that does not need words to command respect. It was a reminder that true leaders never need to shout, they simply act and others follow. The secret images did not just reveal Hamilton's brilliance, they revealed Ferrari's dependency on him. And that revelation set the stage for the next question. How would Hamilton transform this dominance in practice into destiny on race day?